Hey, everybody. Hello. It's me again, and I'm here with another reading for the Love Tarot series. And today, the question is, what can you do? What can you do? And with that in mind, I'm going to just prepare the tarot deck. I've been clearing the area and spraying goodwill. Spraying goodwill. I love that. And it's very rainy here in Italy. It's been rainy and foul weather, almost like it's as if it were fall, but there's been snow in areas where we didn't expect to have snow. Tomorrow there shall be sun. I keep saying that. Tomorrow. Okay, let's take a look at the first thing that we see in answer to what can you do. I'm using the tarot today, and then I'll be using the Lenormand. This is the Magic Tarot, and you'll see how they are. They're beautiful deck. It's a gorgeous deck. It almost looks like a Mexican, Aztec. I would say Aztec pictures. What is the answer to, let's have some insight. This is a reading for anyone who is seeing it. When they see it, this is the answers that are meant for them. These messages are meant for people who need the messages. Now, what can you do? I do have a couple here. I have both the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands, just to give you an idea of what these cards look like. And before I start, I meant to light the candle, but you know, when you get excited and push the button, you forget to do things. And there it goes. Okay. All right. So I do have a couple here, and this is really interesting, and it would come out with the Lenormand cards later in the mini grand tableau, the King and the Queen of Wands. Now, this is a fiery couple, but it's not the notion of being a couple. It's the notion that there is something. It doesn't matter if they're swords or passion of the wands or the coins. What is interesting to note is that there is a couple here. And of course, I've got this lovely Six of Wands, and the Six of Wands does speak of success, but we're aiming to try to figure out what can you do? What can you do? Because right across from this Six of Wands, we've got a Five of Wands. And of course, there is a progression from the Five to the Six, and the Five of Wands is a card that tells us that things have not been going very well, but it goes through to the Six. What do we've got in the center to focus? Ladies and gentlemen, the focus card is the Empress. And an Empress, of course, talks of, well, pregnancies for those who are in childbearing age, but it also talks about the possibility of creating something new together as a couple. What can you do? I do have the King of, interesting, the pyramid here, this diamond spread, is flanked by two coin cards, the King of Coins and the Knight of Coins. And they talk about being more grounded, being slower. Do not haste makes waste. Go very slowly. But it's very interesting because this diamond spread gives me all different kinds of relations here. And I have the Death card. Just give you, I'll show you these cards because they're so cute. The Death card is in line with the Six of Wands, and that tells you you have to close. There are two messages here. One is you have to give that person an out. Whether are we going to go forward or not? Do you want to go forward? But I want to go forward in a certain way. And the idea here is to put a person very clearly in position for them to give you a response, but knowing that there may be consequences in the sense of, you want that? Is this what you want? Then you have to ask for it. And if it's not forthcoming from that person, you have your answer very, very clearly. This is what the cards are telling you, because the Two of Wands, which talks about an antagonist, it's an antagonistic type of card. That is the card par excellence that tells you head to head. You've got to go head to head and ask. And also, in terms of this energy, is that there's the expression in English about children. Children should not be seen and should not be heard. But that just should not be heard and should not be seen. That expression is also used in many different contexts. And women, especially, have always strived for harmony. And so they do not want to create disorientation or a lack of harmony. And the consequences is they are not heard and not seen. Now, this tells us a different story. These cards are telling us a different story. You get either the end and a new beginning elsewhere, or success, but it only comes at the cost of speaking up. Now, this is one way to look at it, but then we have another relation here. We've got another relation that is the Five of Wands, the Empress and the Queen of Wands. Now, this clearly talks of a female energy and a female creative energy. Now, just to give you a little background about creativity, we all talk about virgin energy. There's around the archetype of the virgin, there is a slew of books, and if you go anywhere in the world and you talk about a virgin or the virgin, everyone knows what you're talking about. But what is little known is that the virgin is not linked only to a lack of sexual intercourse, but it means creativity. The virgin is the archetype that brings forth creativity. Now, this goes through, there's a progressive here of a progression of maturity from the Five of Wands, that internal strife of what do I do? What do I do? Can I say it? Can I tell them? Can I ask them? Can we go along this way? What are we doing? We've been dating for 5 years. Why is it, and all of that. Then you come to because the focus here is the Empress, you come to a head where you are able to package the question, package what you want to say, and ultimately our fiery queen, and this isn't male or female here, our fiery queen gets it out, because a fire queen, the Queen of Wands, cannot go without saying her piece. They cannot be quiet. They cannot hold their tongue. Now, this is an immediate answer of, what can you do? You need to speak up. You need to ask for what you want. Now, I'm going to pull these up and try to give you another message to that question, the answer to that question, using the Lenormand cards with a mini grand tableau. And my mini grand tableaus are those readings that I put out in December for the year ahead. And they're wild. They're so on point each time. But I'm going to use it today for this response, for what can you do. And before I lay them on the table, I just want to bring your attention to what I offer as in terms of lessons in movement. I'm a voice coach and I offer lessons in movement. And lessons in movement, I have 2 lessons. One is for movement of the entire body, and the other is movement in relation to the voice in movement. And I do that during the week, Wednesdays, Thursdays, this next week. And write to me at one of these emails and tell me where you're located. If you want to join, they are offered on the platform Zoom. I give you a link, and depending on your time zone, we work it out and I send you to the best lesson for you. And they're also wonderful, fantastic lessons for a mind and body experience. Yesterday, we were having our lesson, the voice and movement, and one of the participants was saying how it was a form of meditation. Even the day before in the movement course, it was because it's called movement with grace, and they were saying how they actually felt like they were meditating, and you come away with quite a different feeling in your. It's different from yoga, from any kind of Pilates or any kind of other movement classes you may have been part of. So write to me if you're interested in a free lesson to try it out. Now we're getting into the Lenormands, and the Lenormand are an oracle deck, and I'm putting out 4 by 4 by 4 and reading what they have to tell you. What they have to tell you, I have to keep these straight because they have a position, and the position is their meaning. Now, just let me take a moment. Uh-huh. All right. Now, what are we looking at? We're looking at beginnings and endings. Remember, we saw in the diamond spread, the tarot diamond spread, that you have to give that person an out. You have to tell them, what are we going to do? How are we going to go forward? Either we decide to go forward, then we have to make a commitment to do that, or let's just call it a day. We've been, together for so long, and we saw that as the answer initially to what can you do. And I'm seeing here in the beginnings and the endings, I'm seeing very, very because all of these have a position that is called a house, and in the house of beginnings and endings, I'm seeing very fertile ground. This is where you manifest. This is where you find a formula to go forward in what you want. You have to be very, very clear with what you want. And that came out in the tarot spread before. So that's an initial answer. Be very, very clear. In the house of surprises, messages are, the surprises will be in the form of messages that you don't expect in relation to your love interest. Then we're going to the house of abrupt changes, difficult abrupt changes. And I find such an interesting card. I'll have to show you these cards. They're small and they have funny, they're not the typical Lenormand, but you will see that they are very, very particular. This is the moon card, and the moon is in this deck is a card of love. And when we have something like this, we've got the fish. They have names, each card. The fish, we've got the rider, and we have the moon. You are going to be surprised in each house that it's in. You are going to be overwhelmed with what comes to you. I'm getting so my voice is cracking with what's coming to you. And the last card here in the first row is the book, and it's in the position of oral communication. What does that tell you? This tells you that with your oral communication, the way you have to present the message and the communication of what we should do, because this is my intention, this is what I would like. If we're not on the same page, then let's either negotiate or just decide to disagree. Okay, we can agree to disagree. The book here in the position of oral communication tells you that not everything needs to be said. the book is closed. You don't have to open every single page, and you don't have to reveal to that person every single motive that you have. It would be best not to. This is what they're telling me. Then we have in the position of, we've got the man. All right, so the man, when I say the man or the woman, because there are two positions, you know, the male and female side of you, or the male person like a male, or the female. But here, there is the man in the position of being if you consider in your relationship the male, the most male, the male version of you, and the male in the relationship is going to be very, very sly and sure of what they say and how they say it, whether they're on the asking or the responding side. And this goes also for like gender relationships. You think about that. And it's interesting to have the guidance in advance, because you know that when you go and present your platform, your idea, what you want, just beware of that. Then we have the heart here in the position of security, what your sense of security, and of course, what you are looking. This tells me that what you're looking for in that relationship is a greater sense of security. Then we've got here the sun, and the sun here is such a strong sun. It's even stronger than the tarot sun. It's very, very bright. We have it in the position of guidance, and they are really telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if you had ever a time where you needed to express something or to talk or to ask, do it now and choose your words wisely. Then we have um, let me get, okay, then we have the ring. A very interesting cards. The ring is actually a ring, but the ring has many meanings, but generally it means some form of contract, some form of bond, a marriage, or some kind of engagement as well. And it is in a house that talks of home, of going towards your home. And the notion here is very, very clear. If you've been listening, um, you are in a place where a contractual bond, a soul bond, a bond that is what you are looking for, will be coming to you. And that is when you'll finally feel that you are in a place called home, both literally and metaphorically. Remember, these are general readings, and of course, um, the notion here is that of when you hear this, it's guidance for you if it resonates with you. If you need a private reading, write to me at one of those emails, and we'll work that out. Now, let me see if I've done everything that I've done. 2, 3. Okay. Now, we've got here a card of actually the fox being sly and being very wise in certain, working towards your own interests. How? You're working towards your own interest. If you don't, you will feel that you are not serving yourself the way you should, and you shouldn't only think of others. You need to think of number one. You need to think of what you want. Also, and of course, the question is, what can I do? This is what you even have to do. There is here a sense of security, the security card that comes right after an ending. And it does say that if the sense of security does not come to you from this relationship or this person, that, and if it's not, here's the child, the beginning, if it's not the beginning of something in that sense, then it is time to separate. The last line here talks of a sense of maturity. Okay, we've got a sense of maturity, and the sense of maturity comes from the notion that finally you want to go home. This is the stork. You want to go to a place, you want to find your home. And the notion of home here, ladies and gentlemen, really comes up. And it's almost as if now is the time, and the time is ripe now, that you understand, I'm tired of, having someone in every port and traveling all over. I do need home base. I do need to come back, and I do need to have that emotional strength and foundation. Then we've got here, we just mentioned travel. I just mentioned I don't want to travel. Well, the card of travel is here. The ship is here. And what is the ship? The ship is the key. What does this mean? This means that you need to travel to the home. You need to travel to a time of maturity where you are literally expressing out loud that you want a home, or your common home. I'm going to go back now to the tarot and mention once again these lessons of movement that I have that you might want to consider. One is called Moving with Grace, and one is called The Voice in Movement. They're not language. It's not a language course. It is a way to learn how to use your voice more effectively and control your nervousness when you have to speak in all kinds of contexts. So write to me and to let me know where you are, your location, and maybe we can work it out, a time for you to come and take a look at what these are like. I'm going to open again look at the Lovers right at the top. I'll show you that. Look at right off the bat, the Lovers card. Now the Lovers, even though the card does suggest togetherness, as you can see from the card of the Lovers also is a card that talks of choices. You need to make a choice. You need to make. Now, very, very interesting. I love the aces. Sorry about that weird noise. The Ace of Wands. And the Ace of Wands is right across from the Justice card. So far, we have these two major arcana. Now, of course, that is action. What must I do? Take action, the Ace of Wands. And the decision, it's your decision to make. You are the one who has to make the decision. You're not supposed to be subject to someone else's decision, but you are the protagonist. You're the one who is going to set off the process. Now, right across this diamond here, we've got a focus, and the focus here is the Queen of Cups. Now, the Queen of Cups, we all know how lovely, and the energy of the Queen of Cups. Of course, there are water signs, but I'm not seeing this as a water sign. I'm seeing this as energy, and it is the flowing energy of emotions, and your emotions are at stake. And when your emotions are at stake, emotions underlie everything that we do. In my voice coaching session, the Voice in Movement, that's one of the things we work with, and we calm our emotions when we need to speak. This is very interesting because we've got 2 6s at the side of the diamond, framing the diamond. And this is the 6 of Cups. And we've got the 6 of Wands. This is the second time. 1, 2, second time that the 6 of Wands has come out. And the 6 of Wands talks about success. We have that 6 of Cups, and the 6 of Cups talks also of a return. So what do we have? We've got 2 sides to this story. you of course have to front. The question was, what can I do? And the cards have been telling you what you must do, and also have, this third spread, this diamond spread, is telling you you have a win-win. There is a win-win, because let's imagine that you give the person an out and you tell them exactly what you want to do, and the roads separate. All right, your roads separate. I do see a return, and it seems that you have to go through that separation to be able to start anew. Why do I say that? Because I've got here the Fool. The Fool is here to tell you that it's going to begin, whether you are still with that person, or the person from your past or from a past life comes to you. So it is a win-win situation. I do have a third, a third six, all right? A third six, which is the Six of Coins. And the Six of Coins is generosity of spirit. It is giving. And when you tell someone what you want, it is giving them an important message. And that is a side to being generous with your communication. The last is the Nine of Swords. And what's interesting, we know the Nine of Swords in tarot speak as a card that talks of nightmares and being afraid, all right? Actually being afraid. And in the straight down the center of this reading, there's the Lovers, the Queen of Cups, and the Nine of Swords. Now, this is a decision. Remember, we talked about the Lovers as a decision. It is also mirroring your fear. So please remember that we understand that there is fear in speaking out and telling people what you want. There's a fear of loss, of course, and a fear of really being alone. But the cards are generous today. They are like the Six of Cups, the Six of Pentacles, Six of Coins. They are very generous. Very, very, very wonderful. Also, another thing that is interesting about this progression here is that the diagonals give us such a very clear picture. We didn't speak of the Justice card clearly enough. Remember, I said there were two major arcana. Now there is a third. And I'm going to read the progression of the major arcana. Is the decision of the Lovers, right? And then we have the Justice card, which is a karmic relation, all right? It tells you of a karmic relation. And then the Fool card, which is a new beginning. Now, why is, after all of these gorgeous cards, you think, well, why does this card come out in the end? This Nine of Swords. It is a reminder that we are fearful of making a decision, and it will run counter to you if you prey on that fear. I do hope these messages were of help to you. This was a reading, a general reading. If you sent me a super chat, I'm going to consider that a donation because I'm not taking questions here. But use this reading to guide you as for the answers in some way that you are asking yourself. I'm expecting you for my lessons next week. Bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen. Write to me and we'll take care of it. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.